Hello, my name is Jennifer O'Brien, and I am one of 2 academic support specialists with International Services. Today we will discuss problem solving, one of the most essential employment skills in Canada. When joining the workforce, all students have certain challenges, whether it is limited paid work experience, limited career-related experience, or even a lack of a professional network. All students experience common barriers and may lack certain employability skills. One skill that is considered important to Canadian employers is problem solving. Although this is a skill that all students must have in the workforce, international students may not have been taught the same way or have the same expectations of problem solving that the Canadian workforce has. For example, in Canada, as a member of the team, you might be expected to do your own research and suggest ideas that may not follow a template. In contrast, other cultures may expect people in a company to follow a strict problem-solving process without deviating. The key is to try to familiarize yourself with what is expected in the country you intend to work so that you can avoid any conflicts. An easy way to help alleviate conflict is to understand the Canadian workplace cultural values, speaking up and asking questions, as problems can arise due to a lack of proper communication. Therefore, whenever you need to work and communicate with others in the workplace, it is important that you ask questions. In fact, most employers prefer that you ask questions if you do not understand rather than be confused or make mistakes. You may be wondering, why is problem solving important for work? First, though this is often not a skill we can physically see, problem solving is a vital skill that affects not only your professional life, but your daily life as well. In any situation, you must go through encountering problems and finding solutions. The better you are at problem solving, the more successful you'll be at solving those problems. Second, problem solving is a key skill that is assessed at job interviews. All workplaces encounter problems and will single you out as a good candidate for a job or promotion when you can demonstrate problem-solving abilities. Third, problem solving makes you a valuable and trusted asset in any team. Workplaces look for people who can think of new ideas, better ways of doing things, making things easier, and helping people save time and money. By having problem-solving abilities, you can show your workplace that you have the skills to contribute to their overall productiveness and value. Fourth, problem-solving skills can boost your confidence. Having the ability to solve problems on your own will give you the confidence to tackle everyday tasks, without the worry that you will get stuck or will be unable to finish a task on time. Lastly, problem-solving skills can help you progress more quickly and boost your career opportunities. There are many positions that require problem-solving skills more than others, such as managers and senior level roles. And so, if you progress in a career or job, it is essential that you develop these skills. Though problem solving may seem pretty simple, there are actually several skills involved. First, you need strong observational skills. In the early stages, it is important to have strong observational skills so that you can identify the problem. Second, you need lateral thinking and analytical abilities. Rather than accepting issues at face value, you need to be able to analyze a situation and think of possible solutions that may not always be obvious. Third, you will need persistence and resilience. As you explore potential solutions, you will need to keep moving forward. Even if you encounter problems and withstand inevitable pushback from coworkers who resist change, it may not always be easy to persist or be resilient, but it will definitely pay off in the end. Just remember, you don't have to be pushy or aggressive. In Canada, we value people who keep looking for answers to a problem and do not give up. But we do not like those who are pushy or show aggression. Fourth, you will need innovative thinking and research skills. You will need to find the right approach and gather ideas about how you can solve the problem. This might mean being creative and fine-tuning your research skills. Once you do this, you will be able to compare potential solutions to a problem and decide which one is the best in any given situation. Fifth, you will need teamwork and leadership. In Canada, though we can start a project on our own and we have our own ideas, we also value teamwork and leadership, and so we often expect others to work together rather than only individually. In any teamwork environment, it is common to encounter problems and to have questions or need more information to find a solution together. Like mentioned earlier, it is important that when you work and communicate with others, you ask questions if you're unsure about something. Just keep in mind that if you need to approach management with questions, it is important to do so with potential solutions already in mind, rather than only stating your problem. Even if you may not have definite solutions to the problem yet, it is important to make it clear that you're in the process of finding solutions and need a bit of guidance along the way. To do this, you can simply state that you have a problem and you have a few ideas on how to solve it, but you wanted their feedback. One example in Canada can be when working in retail. If you and other coworkers have an issue with logging on to cash registers, rather than just stating you have an issue, you can explain your problem and present your supervisor with a solution, such as asking them for a login reset. Lastly, you will need critical thinking and attention to detail. Once you've implemented your solution, you will need to assess the results and tweak your strategy as needed to make sure the problem is successfully resolved. Though there are many skills in problem solving, the overall message is that you need to find a balance between using skills to solve the problem on your own and using skills to solve the problem as a team. In Canada, it is expected that you have the skills to solve a problem, but also recognize that if you need a little help along the way, you can ask questions to those who might have answers. In the end, you're expected to figure out how to do things on your own or as a team. And if you're unsure, it is your job to find out who to ask. Your boss, of course, is there to help you be as successful as possible, but you must find a balance so that you do not become over-reliant on your boss and that you begin to do things on your own. Another important skill in the workplace is critical thinking. Critical thinking is such an important component of problem solving. Critical thinking is the process of asking questions to come up with potential solutions to different problems. As such, critical thinking is composed of two steps: divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking is coming up with many different solutions to a problem with the objective of being exploratory to different ideas. Convergent thinking follows divergent thinking and is analyzing and interpreting these different ideas with the objective of coming to a decision. This demonstrates the importance of being part of a team, coming up with many solutions together. If you can critically think in your workplace, you can show that you have information to contribute and that your ideas are valid. For many people, they do not consider problem solving a process, but rather just something they do. Whether we have a structured approach or not, most approaches include the following stages: problem definition, identification of potential solutions, solution selection, and implementation. Today we will cover even a more detailed approach. First, you begin with problem identification. This is where you consider, why is the problem a problem? In order to do so, you should describe the problem. Once you've written out the problem in detail, it is easier to identify the cause. It is extremely important that we uncover the root cause of the problem. This is done by asking questions such as, when and where did it occur? How did it happen? What led to the problem? Was it caused by one thing or many things? What could have prevented the problem? The third step is then to analyze the impact. This means to uncover who or what is affected by the problem. How many are affected, for how long, and is it recurring? Oftentimes, individuals will jump straight from stage 1 to 4. However, stages 2 and 3 provide us with greater information regarding the issue, and thus you are better suited to identify problems and possible solutions, which is the fourth step. When brainstorming solutions, first have everyone do so independently. Then have everyone come together, share ideas, and build off what one another has said. This approach to this idea generation helps yield the greatest number of ideas. After you have a number of different possible solutions, you must then go through each and determine which are the most viable. To do this, you should identify advantages and disadvantages of each. For example, time to implement or lack of resources may be drawbacks that cannot be overcome. After you've evaluated each of the alternatives, you must then make a decision. Which solution is best? Will the solution solve the problem? Once you've settled on a solution alternative, You must then create an action plan for the implementation. This is done by breaking down the solution into smaller, more manageable steps. In each step, you must outline what needs to be done and who would be responsible. The 8th step is keeping the desired goal in mind. Implement your solution one step at a time. The final 2 steps are arguably some of the most important and are oftentimes skipped. In stage 9, after the solution has been implemented, it is important to monitor progress and keep a close eye on whether the problem is being corrected. This involves regular and routine checks to see what is going well and what is not, and making the necessary adjustments. On a similar note, the final step is to evaluate the results. This is important as keeping track of things that went well and things that did not can only help smooth the problem-solving process in the future. Another reason stages 9 and 10 are so important to the problem-solving process is because sometimes the first solution we try does not solve the issue. This can be due to a number of reasons, some of which are out of our control and some of which that we can control. With this in mind, it is important that we do all that we can to ensure the success of our problem-solving tactics. With that in mind, there are also common mistakes that can be made when problem-solving. The good news is they are very easy to negate as long as we are aware. Firstly, thinking you have to solve a problem yourself is a common misconception. In Canada, it is important to ask for help when appropriate, especially if it is a large problem. Furthermore, it is also important to consider other people's input as they may have a unique way of looking at the issue at hand. Another one of the mistakes I would like to point out is solving the wrong problem by focusing your efforts on fixing the symptoms rather than the root cause. Finally, a common mistake when problem solving occurs during the brainstorming phase, in which everyone generates initial ideas together. This runs the risk of groupthink occurring. Groupthink is when the group reaches a consensus based on the common desire not to upset the balance of other people by going against the lead voice. Not only does brainstorming separately and sharing ideas afterwards reduce the chance of this happening, but it is expected that you will come with your own ideas. We have covered the problem-solving process in detail. However, it is important to discuss best practices you can implement to improve the skill. Firstly, when it is possible, work collaboratively. The statement, "two heads are better than one," captures the importance of working with our colleagues. We all have our own set of unique experiences and a way we go about approaching problems. Thus, when working together, we can cover a problem more fully, approaching it from many different angles. Secondly, document solutions to resolve problems. Solutions of the past may be useful in the future. Similarly, keep track and stay up to date with changes. You are more likely to hit a snag if you're unaware that changes have even occurred. Staying on top of things helps you to stay in front of the potential problem. In Canada, time is very fixed and really matters. It is expected that you respect deadlines and stay organized and on top of things. Next, always consider the level of risk associated with any decision you make, and ensure you have a contingency plan by chance things don't go as planned. On that note, understand that it is human to make mistakes and that it is important that we learn from them. Finally, take initiative. Do not wait to be told. If you see a problem occurring or have solutions, make sure you are part of the solution process. In Canada, it is often expected that you go beyond your job description, taking initiative not only in solving an immediate problem, but in other aspects of your job as well. You will be given tasks and expected to figure out how to do them, so taking initiative will help you succeed in Canada. For example, if you're employed as a cashier but notice the area around you is not organized, you can take initiative and go beyond your job description to also organize your area when you are not busy. Up until this point, we have presented a theoretical context of problem solving, and as such, the process itself can appear quite complex. While it takes years to master this skill, it is something you have already begun to develop through occurrences in your everyday life. Well, we demonstrate this by looking at the application of problem solving in 3 instances: everyday occurrences, educational settings, and in the workplace. The first example looks at problem solving in an everyday occurrence. You are stuck in traffic and you may be late for work. Such a simple question can have such diverse answers. The solution to this problem varies depending on the situation. You could change your route to one that is not busy. or you could call in to ensure that they know you will be late. Either way, it is up to you to assess the situation and determine your possible solutions. Our next example looks at problem solving in educational settings. Students often find some subjects or courses easier than others. This means that a common problem in education is when certain subjects are not as easy, and thus students might receive bad grades. Possible solutions include knowing your limits to how many courses you can take, reaching out for help, and improving your time management skills to ensure that you can properly plan and prioritize each course. In Canadian universities, you are in charge of your own education, and you need to take proactive steps to ensure that if something isn't going well in your studies, you can try to fix it. This may mean reaching out to your professor or TA, or using additional resources like a tutor or learning services. Our last example looks at problem solving in the workplace. While there are many different occupations and accordingly many different organizations to work for, the problem we will discuss is one that can occur anywhere. Feeling stressed at work because you are not getting along with your coworkers. When faced with a problem, it is easy to get sucked in by negative emotions. However, it is important to try to look at things in a positive light. A solution to this specific problem could be to see this as an opportunity to improve your communication skills and possibly resolve disagreements with your coworkers. One example in Canada is in a team project. Two coworkers must work together to complete a project, in this case, a presentation on time management. Rather than discussing the project in depth, they both worked independently and in the end have two versions of the same project. One person made slides for time management in the business world, while another made slides for time management differences across companies. Though they could combine them, both are set in their ways and do not want to compromise, as they put a lot of work into creating their individual presentations. This leads to conflict and makes submitting the project and presenting about the content very difficult. Because there was a lack of communication, they doubled their efforts and had conflict between each other at the end. Instead, they could have communicated their ideas to each other throughout the creation process and avoided conflict altogether. In Canada, making connections with others in the workplace is expected and can be helpful as much as it can be harmful. If you do not make connections, you will be indirectly telling others you are not interested in working with them. Whereas if you do make connections and work on communicating with your coworkers, you can form relationships that have more strategies to use when faced with disagreements among each other. Thank you for watching our mini lesson on problem solving in our video series. Stay tuned for the next video in our series, Conflict Resolution and Decision Making.